Life is just full of relaxing and rolling around, isn't it? What do you think, T-Rex? Go out the door, see what we got. You ready? He always does that when I put the string on. He sits there and chops. What do you think, T-Rex? You want to go outside? You want to go out? 41 degrees, 8:15, March 27th. Pretty much the same temperature as the ocean. Day 4 of our high barometer nor'easter. Doesn't feel like a nor'easter today. The flag is barely moving, but it is from the north and east. Any cats around here want to come out? Talk about the weather? Come on. All right, good. Don't take off. It's over there today. A bucket. I used the bucket to make a brew to try and save my tulips. Deer and rabbit repellent. We'll see that in the end more. So we've got some requests coming in from viewers. I like that. Steve Bailey. I'm tired of wind moving from high to low pressure, especially when the high's to your north. And the high is still to the north. It's tucked right in there in Labrador. Between a couple of fronts, we have fronts coming at us from the east. Look at that occluded front. That's old occluded air that's wrapped all the way around that low pressure system that's been stalled out near Bermuda, impacting eastern New England. And then the other fronts, a warm front to the northwest and 2 cold fronts to our west that are pushing in. So the squeeze play is on. And ultimately that ocean low and the high pressure system are going to sort of move out and dissolve. And we are going to be ruled by what's coming in from the west. You look at the surface map, temperatures this morning, wind barbs show the direction the wind is coming from, still from the north. Here in Boston, Cape Cod, about 40 degrees. The red numbers are gusts, still gusting, past 30 at Matinicus Rock off of Maine from the northeast. But then you look into New York, and the wind is gusting from the south. So you know it's a counterclockwise circulation around low pressure, and that low that's moving into Ontario, the old Plains blizzard, is going to start to take over. It's going to draw the warmer air in. Actually, the warmer air is already here. Mount Washington is one of the warmest spots in New England today. Halfway up the mountain, it's in the mid-40s. Wait a minute, what's going on here? Do you guys feel? Can you see? Is that the sun way up there? Just over that roof? And a song sparrow. And look at those pussy willows. And seagulls, look at those pussy willows. And gulls, no such thing as seagulls. It's gull, that's a gull. And that's a weather stick. And the weather stick is pointed down. It bends down when it's bad weather incoming, and it is bad weather incoming. Another viewer, Robert Blake, he wants to know what's going to happen in the mountains today and tomorrow and Friday. Depends which mountains, Robert. In the mountains of Vermont, we're getting fog in northern Vermont, maybe a little drizzle. Southern Vermont, we're going to get some showers. New Hampshire and Maine, getting a lot of rain. It's not a real warm rain. It may end as snow. How's it all going to evolve? Well, why don't we take a look at the tropical... No, let's look at the static maps first. All right, so here's the map. Tonight, you have front coming in from the west, low pressure developing over the southeastern United States. And then tomorrow, you have fronts right over us, low pressure coming up along the fronts. And ultimately, we're going to have a cold front and a colder front. And it's really interesting because here in Boston, it's going to warm up because the wind's not going to come in from the ocean. But in the mountains, it's going to cool off, but not in time for snow for most of us. All right, so now let's go with the play-by-play on the Euro, a 10-day. I'm going to show one angle, and then I'm going to show another angle. Here's the angle of the entire 48, lower 48. And there's a new storm coming in off the Pacific Ocean. That's going to send pieces across the country, but Actually, I probably should have shown that satellite first. There it is. See the storm off the northwest? And the storm's out over the ocean. Playing catch up. Now back to that other map. And so you got the front stalled in the east, and it's tapping the Gulf of Mexico again for more heavy rain. And that's coming in batches, a little bit today, but more so tonight and tomorrow and into Friday. And once again, we are going to measure rainfall in inches. And then look at this little wave coming along on Saturday night, Sunday morning. What? Is it snowing near the Cape Cod Canal on Easter morning? Well, I told you that's a moving target with that front stalled here from Chicago to southern New England, Chesapeake Bay area on Monday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and there's a lot of action. I want to change views. First of all, here comes a tugboat. So a lot of interest on how these huge tankers negotiate the harbors. And it's a sad day with the search going on in Baltimore. But anyhow, the tugs guide the huge ships into and out of the docking, but then once they get free out into the harbors, they're on their own. And that one in Chesapeake Bay, or whatever that was, Baltimore, lost its power. And I am not one that believes it was hacked. I believe it was just like those Seconds to Disaster show they had on Nat Geo. No disaster happens without a series of critical events that all happen at the same time. So there are a lot of critical events that we're going to have to learn from. Anyhow, it is very interesting watching all of this. Interesting and scary. All right, sorry. Let's go to the tropical sector. I showed it yesterday because these storms, what they do out in the Atlantic Ocean, are very important. So you get the decaying low, once again, there south of Bermuda. And you have the new low powering up. One goes right over New England tomorrow, and then there's another one that's going to miss us to the east on Friday. Or is it? It's deepening right down into the 970s as it clips eastern Maine and slows down and backs a little on Friday night into early Saturday, and still the slight possibility of blizzard conditions in eastern Maine. And that moves out. And then look at this little wave coming along here. There's that little bit of snow possible in southeastern New England, or rain, or probably nothing really happening in southern New England on Easter morning. Meantime, most of our mountains, Robert, at that point are turning dry, windy, and much colder for the weekend. And then here comes this next wave coming along on Tuesday. And look at that kind of buckling in here as a warm front. Primary low into Ontario. Secondary low develops near Cape Cod. Looks more wet than white initially, but again, this is a moving target. And then that also is going to slow and buckle and deepen back into the 970s. Another low in the 970s here, the middle of next week, with a lot of cold around. It's going to be very interesting. I think we're going to end up with a lot of snow somewhere in New England here between Tuesday and Thursday. Last night, there was one run of the GFS that actually produced 60 inches of snow near Boston. And then the next run produced 0. I think 0 is going to be the right number. But some of our mountains here are going to get a good amount of snow. The GFS just went nutty last night. So I'm going to just show you the Euro 10-day snowfall. And once again, after we get through a few days here, a little bit of snow there in eastern Maine. That's that possible near blizzard. And then starting Monday, that's going to be week 23 in a row of coast-to-coast North America snow. And you can see there are a few spots in New England that get more than purple. That's more than a foot. And again, this is the Euro, much more conservative than the GFS, going off next week. So it is going to be very interesting. We're going to get some April Fool's surprises. Wintry weather is coming back. So technically we're in a warm wave right now. I'll just show you the 850 while we're here. The yellow shows we're all in the warmth right now, even though it's only 40 degrees and drizzling here. It's warmer up in the sky. And then we're going to mix that out. And here comes a cold front, the blue coming back here tomorrow into Friday. At that point, we're going to be a lot warmer near the ocean because of an offshore flow. Be in the 50s in Boston while we cool into the 20s in the mountains. And then you got that boundary there from the Great Lakes to just south of New England with low pressures rippling along that, and then more push of a warmer front here Tuesday, and then immediately a colder front Tuesday night and Wednesday, and then we're back into shades of purple pretty close to us the middle of next week. So that's how that all plays out. We're right on the edge of some serious cold in Canada. And as for March rainfall, I went back through the records, kind of forgot about March 2010. National Weather Service in Boston did a great write-up on March 2010. More than 16 inches of rain in Providence, catastrophic flooding, record crests on the Patuxent River back 14 years ago this month. And March 2010 was the wettest month of any month on record in modern history in Providence. I think it was the second wettest in Boston. So March 2024, with another couple of inches in eastern New England, will probably get us to the second wettest March on record. There's that little skiff that's been kind of wrapped around its mooring all winter long, low tide right now. So for our in more, yesterday, more work in the garden. You know, I'm going away for a few days, trying to clean out some spots. So there's the peony spot right there. Cleaned that out, and my fingers froze, and planted some more seeds right there. And more on these pussy willows in our and more. Talk to you tomorrow from a foggy mountain, I think. All right, just one more thing before we get to the end more today. Flag just went still, so the high barometer nor'easter is done. There are the tugboats releasing the tanker to go off into the future. And speaking of release and go off into the future, congratulations to Matthew Charles Noyes for freeing yourself from television after 20 years. 22 years, really. And it was a fun couple of decades that we worked together. And now you don't have to get up at 1 o'clock in the morning anymore. What are you going to do next, Matt Noyes? You want to team up? Do these videos together? Best of luck to you and the fam. All right, here's the and more from the garden yesterday. You don't eat tulips, right? All right. It's cold, it's windy, it's wet. But that won't stop the rabbits from eating the tulips, will it? I got a bunch of kind of decrepit seeds and stuff all over the place. Last year's tomatoes, those are going on there too. Happy birthday, Steven Tyler, live at 5. Chuck Nolan, he keeps me abreast of everything. Temperature 39. Dew point 39. It's a saturation situation. Temperature pretty much held steady, and the dew point came up. So the cloud comes down. This always happens near a warm front. You get the fog, the drizzle. Not exactly a warm front, though, is it? So the peony are over there, and they've already started to come up. So the next chore in this drizzle is to clean out that area right there where Rex is. Baby steps. Did I show you the Montauk daisies? Coming on strong. They will all weather this weather. We all weather the weather. Some different than others. Another 0.02 since this morning. The air is still colder than the ocean. The ocean's 40. The air is 38 or 39. So we're still advecting cold air at lowest levels. And there are the baby peony right there. Little less windy today. As for the rabbits, how about a little of this rainwater? I think I can do it with one hand. Buy the concentrate. Yeah, it's a smell thing. It kind of works sometimes. I started eating that one like the day it came up. It's 2 weeks ago. Maybe, maybe not. As long as they don't get the bulbs. I mean, you know, flowers. I don't see the flowers yet, although that looks like a flower right there. Where else? Do I have any more tulips? I can't remember where I put them. That'll all work itself out. The deer like the yew. I don't care about that. Well, I guess that's it for the tulips. You can go do the neighbor's tulips sometimes. Deer don't touch those. I think those are daffodils. Sandy's pretty much given up on her tulips. It's the deer. I mean, the rabbits get them every year. Squishy underfoot, isn't it? Quiet so far, but you remember those peas, which I kind of very carefully threw into the pile afterwards? I said, oh wait, that's a maple. I was gonna say that's a pea. That's a maple. Okay, we got a maple tree growing. It's about the last thing we want. So, yeah, I'm gonna be very careful with my butternut squash and pumpkins. Yeah. Enough for everybody. What's that? Is that a maple too? What's that? I don't know. It's dead now though. Just sprinkle some of the freshly groomed loam from down there on top of these. Yeah. It'll be fine. Enough for everybody. Deer, rabbits, raccoons, rats, skunks, turkeys, crows, geese. Anybody else? Come to the worm chow pile. How you doing, lilacs? Focus. How about the pussy willows? They're looking beautiful, huh? Anybody want some pussy willows? I got endless. Steve's turn. What? Don't you want to come out and watch some more planting? Take that as a negatory. You're staying in. No, can't go that way. I blocked it. Thinking, do I want to? Do I not want to? Always right over to Bodie's plaque. Yeah, again, that's right on Bodie's plaque. And then get under the bushes, out of the rain. Right. Technically, it's just drizzle. We're planting. When I bought that last year, it said catnip on it. But I don't know, it looks like mint. So I'm gonna try making mojitos and feeding it to the cat on the same day. See who likes it more. People I give the mojitos or the cat. See if Steve gets buzzed. Hey Steve. Yep, we're out in the rain gardening. It's finger freezing cold. It'd be nice to work in the garden without freezing my fingers. Just open up the peony lane. And you know what would be really nice is to work in the garden and stop finding plastic, whatever these things were, in my leaf pile. What are they, Jerry, Sandy? Is it a poinsettia or a fuchsia? They're endless, everywhere. Fake plants. Anyhow, that pea, that's a tomato, just about ready to burst. Woohoo!